everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is about a WATTCYCLE trolling motor 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium-ion phosphate battery. And in addition, WATTCYCLE was so kind and provided a battery capacity tester. That's what it's called, even though it's more like a monitor. The TFO3K. Let's get started. Thanks for watching again. You might remember there was a video, yes, correct, about a WATTCYCLE Smart Mini. Here on the right side, I put them next to each other so you get a better understanding. But this time we're looking at a trolling motor. And this time is purely about trolling motor, but a little comparison as well happening. And there are a few things which are different and which concerned me about WATTCYCLE. Stick around if you want to know more about it. We'll start as always, what's in the box, specification, and then we'll do capacity test, high current discharge test, as followed by the teardown and then more tests, low and high temp cutoff tests if possible. So let's get started with what's in the box. What's in the box? Well, what you see is what you get, you would assume. It's not a full case. So anyways, what's in the box? The battery. What's not in the box, and it's a separate box to sell separately, it's this WATTCYCLE TFO3K, which here is labeled battery capacity tester. Still, for me, it's more like a monitor. And just turn on, yes, the security, the protective screen is still on it. Sorry about that, but you can at least see it a little bit better. And what's in the box is this one, the protector caps, and then M8 balls. That's pretty much it. There's not really a lot more you need to know. Of course, it comes with a manual. It's essential for the specification. Let's continue with the specification. That means I pulled up the website as well. I mean, as always, there's some kind of discrepancy. So for reference, the link to the website itself as well to Amazon, where you can find this trolling motor battery in the description below. Currently on Amazon you can find this price. On the website itself it's a little more expensive, it looks like. It might always vary, as you know. Prime Day is coming up. Prime Day is just passed. Who knows? This battery is for trolling motors, so it means it should have more power, especially a surge power for the engine when it needs more power, right? Ignore the battery capacity monitor as well as the shunt, which is up there, because I'm just playing around with it, and I also want to introduce this as well here in this video, that WATTCYCLE offers both actually. Also link in the description below, obviously. Let's talk about, besides the Group 24, let's talk about it has low temperature cutoff protection. That's what they advertise it with. It also comes with, they have their own app, which is pretty cool, pretty amazing, and it has I've used it also with the Smart Mini battery, which I pointed out earlier in the video. And it also comes with a 120 amp BMS, especially for the trolling motors, more power towards the engine when it needs it. So it claims IP67 rated, that's great to see. Then we have apparently EVE grade A cells, A+ cells even. So let's see later if that's true and if we can see it. Maximum expansion for S4P, that's what they advertise it with. And here come the interesting numbers. So BMS is 120 amp. And maximum discharge current 200 amp for less or equals 60 seconds, and a peak discharge current from 400 amp for less or equals 0.3 seconds. So the primary current protection is 220 amps. Well, let's see, maybe later we'll see that. And the secondary current protection 400 amps. I'm not sure about the primary and secondary, what that is. Maybe you guys know what it is and what it means. As I mentioned, low temperature protection, it has it, and apparently it should kick in at 0 degrees Celsius, equals 32 Fahrenheit. And at 5 Celsius it will restore. So those are the hard facts, I would say. But no, oh wow, yeah, let's talk about primary protection. A high temperature, low temperature, short circuit, equalization, overcurrent, overload, overcharge, and overdischarge. And the secondary protection is a compact design auto recovery, and they describe it with, you don't need to disconnect the load, the battery will automatically return to its normal state based on the temperature of battery cells. Oh cool, okay. So we'll see that also later in the discharge test. Let's talk about a WATTCYCLE 350 amp lithium-ion phosphate battery monitor. That's what they call this little friend down here. Compatible with 12 volt lithium-ion phosphate batteries. It has some basic functions. It has a shunt, which is great. It's not a smart shunt, it's a shunt. So you see everything on this little screen, which you can mount somewhere if you want to. The mounting hardware is as well included, as well as manual. The shunt is included, and the positive wire is also included. It's not fused, but it is included. It's pretty crimped as well. Yeah, we'll see. Basically, we'll see if that one does a good job or not. Apparently, you have the app. They are not synced or anything like that, but at least you can have an understanding of where it should be. Of course, the smart BMS with the Bluetooth should be the more accurate one. It would be great if they could communicate somehow. That would be amazing, but it doesn't have a communication port, so how? For a basic shunt, this is great. It's a nice layout, nice big numbers. You might have seen it as well. Link in the description below, as I mentioned already. Let's continue with the capacity test and then come back. This is proof. Somewhere back there, you see a trolling motor, and I also have attached there. Whoop! It's a little. Maybe it's clearing. I also have attached. So here's the deal. I have it fully charged. Disconnected it. Oh, right now, actually, it is still connected. And you can see what's happening. It is actually dropping according at least to the output here on the terminals. And I measured it with a watt meter as well. And you can see it's at 13 volts, which is quite interesting. But since we have the app, we can also look in the app and see what's on here. And you can see charge switch is disabled because that's what it does when it's full. But it sits at 13.63 volts. Which is what I would expect to see also on the terminals. So I'm a little bit confused and wondering, I don't want to bore you with that too much, because I only charged it once so far. But when I go straight to the terminals, just for reference, those are the terminals, 1304. And here we have 13, so it's right? It shows the right one. So that means that, and that will be interesting when we take it apart, it tells us that the BMS, what's going out, it's controlling it. And why-ever, it's reducing it, which I have not noticed last time with the WATTCYCLE Mini. So we'll still continue with the capacity tests. I did already play around with that because I was confused. I charged it only once. That's all I did. We'll just continue and then we'll see what happens and what the capacity looks like. That's pretty much all we can do. Yeah, right now it's just stopped charging and you can see voltage here on the battery monitor. Here it's dropping already to 13.4, and here on the app you see it's dropping slower, 13.9. And you can see that also it looks like it has a balancer, which is good to see here, and it active balancing in this case. It looks like it's opening the balancing and closing it in quotes, and I want to let this finish and then we'll start the capacity test. It looks like it's balanced. The difference in voltage you can see here between the cells, 0.051, and it's kind of idling there for a bit. It goes to 0050 or 0052 and back. So I think this is completed, the balancing, but you can still see there's a difference in the voltage. Anyways, we'll do the capacity test and see how it does perform. So let me reset everything. Alright, we see there's the draw. It's drawing with less than 30 amp, 29. We can see also in the app similar. Currently the voltage did drop to 12.99, 12.98, and the app 13.18 and dropping. So we'll see if that is closer to each other, but I'm not letting the app run at the same time. I'm just want to have this at a start and beginning to see if they kind of equalize. So we do more than the 0.2 C here, as you can see, but close enough. I'll let this run and we'll be back with the results and see how far we can get. Alright, there was a low voltage disconnect and protection. And in this case, yeah, it looks like the battery shut off. Nice. Pretty good. It passed the capacity test as you've seen. Let me turn it back on just to give us a picture. So you can see it again, almost 104 amp hour. So speaking about the capacity test, we did pass with 103 amp hour or something like that. So it's more than advertised. This is amazing. This is exactly what we want to see, especially after it's advertised with Eve create A+ cells. Let's test also the discharge or the high discharge test and see what we can do. All right, here we have the battery, the WATTCYCLE trolling motor battery, and we want to do a high current test. So at the moment you can see resting is at 12.77 volts. When you look at the app, it says 13.41 and it's 100%. So we'll go off the app in case if it's full or not. Unfortunately, this is not good and something I talked to the manufacturer already. So we'll see what, maybe throughout the video I have more information. So, and here you can see the battery back there. It also says 12.8 by the way. All right. So now we want to do a very high draw and see how much we can actually get out of the battery. So okay, here we are. Of course we have to increase it. Let's see, we want to get at least 100 amps. We should get to 120 and continuously 120 without any issues. Even in the app it says 130 amp. We are above already. 29. Looks like the multimeter here is a little closer. That's fine. Looks pretty good to me. I'll increase. We are almost at 200. The fan of the inverter kicks in, obviously. So I think that's the maximum we can get with this one. Let me add another load. Oh, the battery is set by. All right. Let's see if it comes back on its own. And there it comes back up. Nice. Took a while, but it did come back up. One more time. Now we load. We have a load of 90 amps. Let me add a little bit more. Wait. All right, there's a search. Let's see how far we can go. Yep. 25. Yep, there was a battery. All right, there we have it. Finally, it took us very long to get there, but it worked out. The entire battery shut off. There we are. And you've seen it was completely off. So it means now it has to come back. Earlier it came back. If it doesn't come back, I'll let you know. And let's continue the video. Great. With those results, easy 120 amp, that's not a problem. I saw even spikes with 220, 227, 208. So we were able to get the BMS really to the 220, but it did say it's capable up to 220, up to 60 seconds. It didn't hold that long, to be honest. We were over that a little bit as well, so that might have caused it. I don't have to test up to 400, sadly, but it gives you a good indication that it's possible, at least to go that high. The 190, it looked like it was able to hold longer, so I think that's a really good result. If you ask me, it's kind of advertised. I don't have the scientific numbers here, but I'm pretty close to what they advertise, and that's something which I actually like to see. So one other thing I want to point out here, and that's something which made me a little bit confused and concerned. So that's why I have my setup here. All right, I have pulled up the app, and yeah, I have it connected since long, and I haven't drawn any current. And how this monitor down over here works is actually it only recognizes load going out when it's going through the shunt, which when it's just depleting itself and the BMS is on and the Bluetooth is working, it's just depleting over time. Very obvious, right? So it makes sense. Anyway, it's been a while that I tested this battery, but I was happy with the results. But what I want to point out is currently, and I hope you can see that here. Let me turn on this light as well as this light over here. I hope you can see that here better. We are at 13.33 according to the app, 13.3 on the left side on the battery monitor, and 13.35 reading straight up off the terminals, not through shunt. And I had some discrepancies sometimes. It happened to me with the mini battery. I realized afterwards, I think, when I charged it and when I discharged it, sometimes the app was showing a different voltage. So I want to test it here really quick. If that is actually repeatable, or if it's maybe just a one-time thing. So let me connect everything and let's get this thing charged. So that means now we can see it's charging. Oh, sorry. Now we can see it's charging. 13.46 on the app. We are at 13.5 and 13.5. So it's pretty good. It's pretty accurate if you ask me. I had times where it was not doing that, where it was way more off, and I had no idea why. Weird, because when you discharge it, the voltage drops way more, or charge it drops way more. But currently it looks pretty good. So just want to make this case and show you, okay, does it work, does it not work? And as much as I can see here, 13.5, well, of course there's a little difference, 13.57, and the smart chart says, or the app says 13.53. Of course there's a little difference. That's always possible, because it's also going through BMS and then coming out. But I had times where it's actually had 0.3 or 0.4 of a volt of a difference. So, and that was something I did not experience before with the Mini, but I didn't pay attention. But I think there was one case when I do my capacity tests, sometimes my reader is a little off, and I felt like that was maybe because of the reader, but actually it was not. It was this battery. So quite interesting. Maybe the voltage is dropping slower. It really depends probably also on the BMS. Maybe you have a good explanation why that is the case. But here I just want to make this case, as I mentioned, 13.65. You see in the apps 13.61. Right now it's not reproducible immediately, because that might really be having a huge impact. If you read 13.4 volts versus 13.1 volts, it could be a 50% difference of the state of charge of the battery. All right, I hope you understand what I want to show you here with this, but it also gives you a good indication how it works. So we'll continue now with the teardown. All right, look at that. There we go. This is similar to the quality what I've seen already with the Mini, as I mentioned so many times. And really, when you look at this, well, when you look at this very thick, is it a 1-gauge wire? Possible. And also over here we do have 2 8-gauge wires. Hard to see. I think there's no label on it, at least at this portion. They have hydraulic crimps over here. It's a little loose on the wire itself, but looks not too bad. Here, by the way. And it also has those marks, so it's kind of torqued, hopefully at least. Looks pretty solid and stiff. We do have the BMS. We have a metal framing in here. I'll try to get it out in a second. Everything is as before. High build quality. Let me try to get it out. This is amazing. Also, it is manufactured very, very high quality. They repeated without the bolts. They repeated on this battery as well. Let's start. This is the side. This is the bottom. This is the top. That's how it's in the housing over here. And because we're here already, I want to talk about this. Obviously, here is the spiral wrap. Got expanded a little bit because of probably how they drop it in. So it got just yeah, expanded like this, but looks like no other issue here. So what we see here, we have 4 cells. And I can see that we do have a readable label here, which is so important. What I got off the scanner, and I don't see EVE cells here. I have to say that. The QR code also doesn't look like EVE, how they typically look. So there might be some discrepancy. I don't know. Advertised with EVE A+ cells. I don't see that here at the moment. I see there are new cells that look pretty good up here. Nothing scratched off. They have all the breather holes, have space to breathe. We do see the bus bars, which have the little hump here, so they can contract, expand if needed. But everything else is compressed in here with this steel housing. As you can see, it's magnetic. Everything's compressed here. We do see the main negative. Also, we can see all those nuts have some torque marking to it, as well as some clue additionally, which is already yellow, which is fine. We do see a little labeling. We do have nice cable organization here. It's a little loose. That's how this happened, which is fine. Could have been probably more secure, dropped in place, but overall it is pretty good. It is pretty solid. The laser welder, by the way, this one has a bend to it, I can see here, from, I don't know, from hitting on it? I have no idea what that is. Well, that's a minor thing at the moment. We have 2 temperature sensors over here. And when we look at this side, we see that's the BMS, pretty small. It has bolts. I don't want to take it apart because I can see I can take it apart completely, except for this Bluetooth module, which is over here, probably, just glued to the frame. That's the only thing. And you have even those handles to drop it in or to lift it up here, which is pretty cool. This is pretty good. Let's continue with some testing. I would say there's nothing, I don't want to take it more apart. Really cool, really, really nice to see. I'm so happy to see that. Okay, so right now we're charging, you can see it here. I have 2 temperature sensors. I'll start with one, and I'll made it blurry over here probably so you can read it here, but that the focus is not pumping and humping the whole time. So let's see. And there it is. I was just testing one temperature sensor. Let's see if it comes back. And by the way, there we go. Here you can see now also the app. Let's continue with the second temperature sensor. And it is rising already. You can see it. 61. Now it's red. 70, and it stops. Let's see how quickly it falls. So both seem to be working individually. This is exactly what we want to see. This is exactly how it should be, and let's see when it comes back and restores charging. And there it is. Very nice. All right, so we'll do first. It's advertised it has low temp cutoff. We'll test individually probes. So let's see. I'll try first of all with the duster, and if that's successful, I will use the ice pack. All right, there it is. We are at a very cold temperature, and it does work individually, it looks like. There we go. Nice. It is at a maximum of minus 40 Celsius. Yeah. Let me try to cool this. Yep. Warm it up a little bit. Not cool off, warm it up. And it is again above 0 degree. And it's back. There we go. Nice. Let's see how far we can get with that one. And there it's dropping. There it is. Minus 36, and it also works individually. All right, nice, nice, nice. Okay, okay, that is a good sign. Let's see if it comes back. And there it's back. There you go. One temperature sensor. It's T1 in this case, dropping slowly, and at 0 degree it should stop charging. At least according to the website. We are below 0 already. Might be a delay. There it is. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. The max temperature was minus 11 Celsius. Which is fine. And it's back. Nice. Let's test the second temperature probe. Slowly falling. And now it's a red zone. And there it is. Alrighty. Alright. Let's see if it comes back. There it's back. Alright, so this is proof. This is all I wanted to see. This is so cool to see here. I don't have to talk about the app too much. You can manually turn it off and on. Charging, discharging if you want to as well via app. This is a solid battery as well. The only thing what I thought might be is with the discrepancy between what it's reporting here on those terminals, the voltage, versus what's actually showing in the app. That was the only concern I had. There's no firmware update possible, anything like that. So it might appear again. It might be something which you're not bothered about at all. Also totally possible. But let me know in the comment section below if you have realized or recognized something similar like I described earlier. I'm really curious about that. There's not more I want to test in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Cheers!